Welcome to a new video. This is being recorded on the Huawei P80 Ultra running the HarmonyOS 6 developer beta. Yes, I finally got it. Phase 3 has opened up, so they have only a few questions that, yeah, spoiler alert, they are in Chinese, but you can all answer them with true, true, true. And then you are in the developer beta. You have to wait. I had to wait 2 days for the beta to be pushed onto my P80 Ultra. I now have it. I'm recording now 4K 30 frames per second on the P80 Ultra using the internal mic, not those headphones, because I'm listening to something else at the same time, multitasking. Anyway, let's go to the ultra wide angle. Nice animation still. There you can see Timmy running around and pulling as always. And we can also move in and zoom in on stuff, like for example this truck there. Very quickly, as you see, even 10x, still not switching lenses in video mode, but I didn't expect this to be the case. But still you get nice animations. And let's go back to 1x. Of course, the camera is one thing they worked on a little bit here and there, but I don't expect too big of a movement in terms of camera. The operating system itself and all the other little things that they tweaked here and there are far more interesting, and I will try them out in this video. Please keep in mind, it's a developer beta, so that means not all the features that I show you here will make it to the final version, and not all features are implemented yet in this. It's developer beta, not even a public beta, which means like tons of features and bug fixes might come into this version still. Nevertheless, let's take a look at them and let's get started. So this is HarmonyOS 6. We want to talk a little bit about the camera application. Did anything changed here? I think it resetted some of the settings when upgrading to HarmonyOS 6, but nothing much has changed here. So I had like moving pictures enabled by default. I really don't like it. If you do create a moving picture, like let's do something like here and open this up, for example. And you have now, yeah, I connected those there shortly. You have now a moving picture. You can press and hold to see your moving picture. But if you are in the gallery, you now have here the symbol to choose what to do with the moving picture. I can loop it, I can bounce it, I can do a long exposure, multi-exposure, cinematograph, for example, and it will render then a different kind of thing out of this, which is, I think, yeah, one possibility that you can do with those things. Nevertheless, this is not what I want to talk about. You saw a sneak peek of some photos. I will show you some photos that I did with this new version. I think they improved a little bit here and there, but to be honest, it was already so good, this performance, that I did not notice much of a difference. But you can be the judge and tell me down in the comment section what do you think about the photos that I'm going to show you right now. First shot here, 240mm 10 times zoom. Let's check it out. I don't see much of a difference. It's still making the Citadel building a little bit too red, and you can still see the AI straightening up all the lines here. And I think Vivo is preserving a little bit better the details there. It looks like a little bit of painted as well, because it's not like the brightest of the day. You can see the little spikes there, but yeah, it's not a huge improvement, I think. And the more you zoom in, you can see how the changes from this color here to more red color. So it still has some issues there with 733mm. It's a bit blurry there. It's not over sharpening everything there. It is okay, but I don't see an improvement. The same goes if I zoom in a little bit further. It's very digital now and not much of an improvement, I would say. Ultra wide angle, this is how far away I was, so just to keep in mind. Ultra wide angle still a bit soft. Yes, a very grayish day. You can see here chromatic aberrations a little bit and a bit of distortion. But overall, I think the ultra wide angle is fine. No match against the Vivo, for example, but still a very good ultra wide angle. Then at night, I also took some shots. This is with the main camera, 24mm, and you can still see it was dark. I could not see so much. Quite a clean shot, I have to say. Doing a solid job. Also a little bit blurry, the people there, because the shutter speed was a bit slow, but 1/50th of a second is still great because f1.6. So large aperture, everything open. Zoom test, 89mm, fantastic looking. See this and this even a little bit brighter. Good shot. It took a second to take the shot, in contrast to the main that directly took the shot without any night mode. And if the further I zoomed in, the more it took. In this case, it took quite a lot. This is why it's a bit blurry, because I was shaky. And then we have the ultra wide angle here with 30mm. You can see it's also doing its job quite nice, but it's a little bit blurry because, yeah, it's a weaker lens a little bit and sensor, but still impressive, I would say, for the night shots. I don't see much of an improvement. What do you see here? So here we have HarmonyOS 6 running on the Pura 80 Ultra. Let me unlock the device and go to settings and tell you about this version. This is the developer version. I'm searching for a new update. I don't think I will get one. A 6.0 developer version. It is actually 6.00170, I think, that I have running here. We have several new features. One of them you find in the gallery, and this is the blur effect. So if I go and scroll up, you will see that it's gradually blurring stuff out. This has been added already into the control center before with HarmonyOS 5.1, where you can see it's also blurring out the elements of the control center. Talking about the control center, if you click on edit, we have now the possibility to edit also the top section here. And I can not only remove but also add things. So for example, if I don't like the horizontal slider for volume and for the brightness, I have vertical ones here available as well that I can edit. A little bit more flexibility for the control center, which is quite nice. Another thing that you will see here is the widget has been updated. So before it was jumping up for the suggested music section. This is like the Chinese Huawei music app. So if you don't have it activated, it will not even show up. But if you don't want this jumping effect because you want to hit the play or pause button, then this is a very welcome addition to this. Another thing that is quite interesting is if you have other applications like Android applications playing some music, it will now also appear in this dialog here. First of all, here under notifications, but also under control center, you can now control also YouTube Music, for example, which is an Android application that's running in Easy Abroad in the Android container. Quite nice of an addition. Another thing is the possibility to set in settings under System and then Shortcuts and Gestures the lock with double tap. So it's a feature that many Android phones adopted already. If you double tap on a free spot, it will go into the lock screen. If you double tap again, it will unlock. This is a feature that was already available with the unlock, but the lock feature was not available yet. So now it is possible to lock and unlock your device quite easily. If we are in settings, let's check out the apps section because they changed stuff around here. Before we had like all the native apps here, and if you want to configure your Android app, it was an option here under compatible apps, and people were not finding those apps, especially when they are also searching for those apps. Now when you scroll down, you can see your native applications. First of all, the Huawei applications, and then we have a section with third-party applications, native ones, and then we have another section with Android applications that are installed in the Android container, either Droid Tong or Easy Abroad. You can see some little logo differences, like here it looks like a minus and there it looks a little bit different. This is indicating which container is used there. And if you go into one of those Android applications, we have more settings to set up, more permissions to set, like location, camera, microphone, media and files, and contacts. We can even view the permission history. We have more permissions that we can set up for those applications. And we even have a network access that we can see here, which is quite interesting. Under notifications, we have what we had before, plus the gentle notifications that we can turn on as well. You can see what's written here about the gentle notifications. So these applications only show in the notification panel. They don't do anything else. So this is quite interesting. An update for the configurability of, or the possibility to configure Android applications. And talking about Android applications, they got also a little bit of an update. For example, if I'm in a video clip here, for example, Vivo X300 Pro, by my colleague Tech Odyssey here, and I want to play this back in the background in a little window, I now have the possibility to do so even though I don't have YouTube Premium. As you see here, multitasking is now available for those applications. I have the possibility the same way to work with them as with native applications, the same gestures apply for minimizing or going into full screen again, and I can go even into multitasking and either start a native application, or I can also start another Android application and have then the full capabilities of HarmonyOS multitasking here also with applications that are running in the Android container, which is quite nice. And you can see also that I have like here the possibility to even control this video via this little pill cutout here. I can pause it and play it again. You see it is working quite nicely. So yeah, this is a quite nice feature that we have here. So those controls were not possible on 5.1 or before, and these are now available here in 6.0. Another thing that I want to show you in the gallery application is a little bit of a return of the editing functions that we had on HarmonyOS 4, in particular the pedal clip app. If I go to edit here, I have now a little bit of the user interface that reminds me of pedal clip. It's not all the functionalities. For example, if I want to add a text, I go in here, text, and I can add a text. You will see that I have a little bit of limits still if I go to styling to style the text. So it was a little bit more advanced in the pedal clip, but it's nice that they're working on it to improve this. And I can also now add music files that are stored on my device, so I don't have to download music from the internet somewhere. And I have some framing options there as well, where I can set the aspect ratio. So it has some basic editing functions that it got. More interesting is the button here, because this one allows me to automatically create a video with AI based on a theme that I can choose here. So slice of life, travel, parents and children, selfies, and so on. I can choose the length of the video, and I can choose the clips that I want to do. So this is quite interesting and nice for those people who want to quickly get a clip of their vacation, for example, for their loved ones at home. Super, super useful, and yeah, thankfully that is added. Then we go to the control center again, and I press on Bluetooth once, because they now have merged Nearlink and Bluetooth. So when you click on it, you get the status notifier for Nearlink and Bluetooth. So Bluetooth is on, Nearlink is off, for example. And if I go to settings, I have also both here, Nearlink and Bluetooth linked together. Bluetooth is on, Nearlink is off here in my case, because I don't have a Nearlink devices that I'm connecting to this. Yes, I'm using FreeBuds 5 and the FreeBuds Pro 4 that use Bluetooth for connecting this one, and I think then they are using Nearlink for the data transfer. I'm not sure about that. Anyway, I have also another tablet that you see there that has a specific Nearlink communication skill, or it's like a Nearlink device. I could use it with this one, but I'm not, because I don't want to use a big keyboard with this little smartphone. I can use it on a tablet anyway. And yeah, those are some of the changes that we saw here. One interesting change, I think, is for some people who are used to using the system in different languages. We have now more languages than just English and Chinese. We have English, we have simplified Chinese, traditional Chinese, Arabic, Spanish, Uyghur, Tibetan, Russian, Japanese, Korean, French, and Vietnamese. Sadly, no German. And sadly, some other languages are still missing, but I think it is growing slowly and steadily, so that we have an indicator that this will probably also end up in more hands, not just in China, but we have to see and wait for probably next year an announcement for a global version with more languages, almost all languages then supported. And I think this is almost everything. There are some subtle new effects that I really, really like. For example, if I want to call Celia now by pressing this button, you see how the effect changed and how good it looks like. Tell me about the weather. Either it's a bit slow or it's not getting me. This is what I have with this current beta, that it's not getting me. Tell me about the weather today. And now it's answering me in Chinese. But it's loading the weather here. There you see, it's telling me about my weather. I have to ask it to talk in English to me in order to do it, but it's like doing it. So this is, I think, quite good. And the effect, if you, let's open up here, I can ask it to translate this page. Maybe I can press and hold here. You can see the new effect. Please translate this page. Please translate this page to English. So it's not getting what I'm talking about, but if you want to translate, there's a nice feature, just pressing both fingers in here. You can see a new effect as well popping up, and it's analyzing the text, and then I can select the text, or I have the possibility to scroll and translate, or translate the screen. You can see also the new effect, and now a little bit of like, I see this wobble and yeah, it's like analyzing everything, and then I have the translation here. I can zoom in, I can read everything. This is, by the way, the website in order to register for the development beta, and this is how I registered for it, basically. Yeah, so a nice effect. There's some other effects like this, like for example the privacy center also has, I don't even have the privacy center, do I have here? Super privacy enable. It will also have a nice shield effect, and then super privacy is enabled now, and it's also giving me this yeah, live action, I think it's called. Yeah, so this is a possibility that I can do though, so very nice. No disabling effect would be also nice, but could happen still. So this is HarmonyOS 6.0 developer beta. Keep in mind, developer beta. So it's an early access version of this. We have some nice improvements, especially with the Android applications that are getting more useful. We have some new languages and localizations that have been added, which is quite nice. Most of the apps still in the app gallery still are not in English, but there are some that are, like for example this application Term Next, which allows me to access my Linux computer with SSH or SFTP, which is quite nice, so I can directly transfer files to or from my Linux computer. Very nice addition. I don't know who programmed it, but a very nice application. And yeah, we have some improvements here and there with the effects. The whole system feels a little bit more fluid. I like the improvements with the Android applications. It also includes them being loaded in memory or stored in memory longer times. So if you have, like for an application, like for example podcast application that I like to use, Antenna Pod, I don't even know where I have it, I just search for it, Antenna Pod, by the way, also a nice feature that it shows you where it is, running in the background, and I can even go into standby with the screen and it's still running in the background without any issues. This was always an issue beforehand. Now it keeps those applications longer in memory. Nice improvements here and there. Hope to see a little bit more running HarmonyOS 6. Of course, there are some improvements that I cannot show you that are in combination with super devices and other Huawei devices running HarmonyOS 6 already, like the laptops and tablets. I don't have any other device running HarmonyOS 6, but in general, I'm pretty happy with this one, and it's very stable and fast, so that I could imagine some people might want to try it out, especially if you're a tinkerer like me, want to try it out. There are possibilities to do so. Anyway, this is Pura 80 Ultra running HarmonyOS 6, the developer beta. If you have some questions, write them down in the comment section. Until the next time, bye. And at the end, I don't want to forget you front-facing video shooters as well. Yes, this is a front-facing video here on the Pura 80 Ultra. What do you think about this one here? We can also go to white, which is slightly wider. They can see most of the car passing by now. But you probably also hear, I don't have wind noise reduction turned on. You can go to 2x, you can see, yeah, you know which headphones those are? Oppo Enco X2. Yes, I have also my Oppo Find X8 Ultra with me, my secondary device that always has like the data SIM inside, the unlimited data SIM. So I have unlimited data all the time. It's something for those people who are not living in Europe or Germany, unusual to have an unlimited data SIM because it costs a lot of money. In other parts of the world it's cheap, but here it's not.